All right, time to show you how this script works. We are talking about the Zany shape key maker today. Starting off, one of the first things you're going to notice is the rig assignment section here. This is quite simple. All we got to do is assign the rig that we want as the master rig, okay? And then the head bone. Now this is different for each character, but in this scenario the head bone is right here, the spine, and I can show you based off here that's going to be this bone right here. If we go into edit mode, you can see that is this bone, the spine number 6. Okay, alright, now let's go back to object. So all we got to do is just assign it right here. Very simple. Now that we got this section taken care of, the rig assignment, now is the bone assignment. Now what you'll notice here is I have auto create face bones set by default as true. The reason is because this script is mainly designed to work with the face bones that are going to be created with this script. However, if you have your own face rig and you want to put that in its place, you're more than welcome to. You can also change the size of the bones as well. Now, when we auto assign, what we're going to do is also focus on, depending on the character, if you need to flip the face rotation direction, you can flip the bone roll 180. You can also flip the bones X direction, the roll X. So you pretty much have some customizable things right here that can help you out with adjusting the face rig exactly how you want. But in this scenario, we're just going to keep it simple. We're just going to create the auto create face bones, and all these default settings should be good enough. So let's create that now. As you can see, all the bones were created automatically. You have your eyebrow bones, your eyelid bones, your eye bone, cheeks, nose bones, your lips, and inside we can also see, if we just move around over here a little bit, you also have some bones right here for the teeth and the tongue and the jaw. Okay, now let's get back to this. So now that we've created the bones, as you can see, these are all assigned in their respective spots. Makes it quite easy. Again, if you do have your own custom face rig, you're more than welcome to assign these individually. Just keep in mind it's about 34 different bones for the face that makes up these facial expressions. So just make sure that you have all the bones needed. That way you don't have any errors with the actual shapes that you're creating. Okay. Now that we've gotten that section there, one little thing I want to show you is the bone size. So let's say I want to change the small bones to max 20, max 40 for the medium, and max 60 for the large bones. You're going to notice right away, bam, everything's changed quite significantly. So this is just kind of helping you if you are the type of person that likes to have your bones bigger and easier to see. Just kind of keep everything visually easier for you. So let's go back to how it was before. Okay, just go back to the simple bones. So now that we've assigned the bone assignment, we're going to move on to the mesh assignment. Now the mesh assignment is optional in most cases. All you really need is the face rig. So if you have like a character that has everything as 1, you could just click this box here and it will treat everything as one mesh. But let's say you have things separate sometimes, like yeah, the eyes may be connected to the character, but not the teeth and not the tongue. Because sometimes when you're doing weight painting, you got to make sure that it's all weight painted properly. So, for example, that's why I have the teeth and tongue separated. Because if we just click on the rig here, and then go over to click on teeth. We're going to go to weight paint, and we're going to notice, let's just get rid of the body here. You're going to notice that the teeth are weight painted in the respective ways that they're supposed to be weight painted. So this bone is assigned to that, this bone's assigned to this upper portion, and the tongue bone is going to be weight painted to here. Once we click on the tongue, of course, you can see that. So let's go back over here. Let's go click on the tongue, go to weight paint, and as you can see, the tongue is weight painted. This makes it quite easy for me, especially dealing with teeth and tongue. If you try to do it all as one mesh, it can be quite stressful trying to weight paint that area, so just keep that in mind. But I made it versatile so you can at least have your picking on what you want separate, or if you want it all as one mesh, hey, more the power to you. If that's what you want, then that's your preference. Alright, so now that we have the meshes that we want, you'll notice a little box here, deform eyelashes. These are to make your eyelashes deform as well. Naturally, if you weight paint them properly, it should be doing that, but if you have them separately, this really helps out too. And you can, of course, assign the eyelashes separately too. Alright, so now that we have the mesh assignment taken care of, we're going to go over to intensity. Now, intensity by default is 1. But let's say sometimes the mesh or object needs a lower intensity. Sometimes 0.10 is just good enough. But 1 is the max. This is to make sure that you have a little bit of adjustment. And let's say you want the eyes to be more intense, and then the mouth to be less intense, or the eyebrows to be less intense. You pretty much have some flexibility there. So not everything is the same intensity. Now that we've gotten past the intensity settings, this is the key part of the script here, the tool. So you're going to notice the shape key settings. Be the most important part. First and foremost, we got to make sure that we have our bones properly weight painted. So this is for anybody that's just beginner. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to select the bone, and you're going to want to weight paint around the area. Usually you could do automatic weight paint, or you can go up here and weight paint yourself and just mess around with it. Now, depending on how much work you did, you'll be able to have your setup pretty good. So like, as you can see, the influence of these bones are pretty much where they need to be. Every bone has its area that it controls, and it doesn't affect the other bones or interfere in any way. I have the eye bones properly weight painted. Same thing with the eyelids. I didn't want it to interfere with the actual eye itself. So just something to keep in mind, okay? Now that we got that out the way, let's just go back to here, original. Okay, so one of the key things that you want to do is store the rest poses. This will ensure that all the bones as they are right now are at the places that they're supposed to be. Now let's say you have a mesh and you created these bones, but it's not aligned properly. What you can do is you can always go in here, select the bones that you want. Usually it's better if you just right here, you can just go to X-ray mode, and then you want to just go to the side and select the bones that you want. So let's say I want to do the eyebrows. Select each one, shift select each one, and make sure I have all my bones selected properly. Always select like the middle of the bone. That will select the whole bone. So let's say your eyebrows are like higher up. Oh, my bad. Hold on. So let's say your eyebrows are like higher up or something, or maybe they're lower, or maybe you need to move them. In general, you could just go into edit mode, move the bones where you need them to be, and then when you go back into object mode, they'll be at the right place that you want them to be. Okay? So I'm just gonna put that back to where it was. Okay. Now that we have our bones all in the place that we want, generally this is how it would look. Um, there's also the inside bones, as I mentioned before. We're going to go down to making our first shape key. So there's a total of 69 shape keys in place. Each shape key has its own bones assigned to them that you can affect. So as you can see, brow down left, what we're going to do is we can go into pose and we can select the bone directly. That's the great thing about this, is that it will select the bone automatically. Now, let's say you want to adjust the settings. You could do that. You can adjust it however you want, right? Let's say you put it down like that and you want to capture it. All you got to do is capture right here. This will be your capture button. This will capture the position and rotation that it's currently at. And then this is how you reset it. So if you want to reset it to how it originally was, you could do that right here. Now let's say you do the brow down left, right? And you want to, the brow down left, and you want to copy the bone placement, like just this specific bone, you can, and then you can paste it onto the brow down right and paste it right here if you wanted to. Now let's say you wanted to do the opposite, because some cases, like let's say you move this a little to the left, well, you're not going to want to do the same thing on the right side. So what I created was a way to basically paste the location on the negative axis. So like let's say you want to do X left, you could do negative location left, negative location Y, negative location Z. Same thing with the rotations. If you want to do the opposite of rotations, you can. I also have this button up here for all of the rotations to make it a lot easier. So instead of doing individual bones, you could just go up here and be like, oh yeah, I want all of these. So let's get all of the transforms right here, and then let's paste it right here on the brow down right. So what we're going to do is we're going to just simply brow down right, paste, and then you can paste the opposite X, opposite Y, etc. just depending on what you're looking for. And then it should give you the exact thing that you're needing. So now that we've gotten all of that out the way, this is how you create the shape key. So what you simply do is you can go right here and create the shape key individually. This will give you a chance to see the shape key for what it is and see how it works. And what happens is that it will select the actual bones and stuff that are associated, and you can go right here and see the shape key that you created, brow down right right here. Let's go into this mode here. See, down left, my apologies. Brow down left right here. And then you could do the same thing right here to brow down right. And you don't even have to switch between modes. I made it so that way, even in object mode, it will do everything automatically when you add these bones. These shape keys. So you can actually just stay in object mode, add all the shape keys, check them out, and then go in and readjust them however you feel. Another cool thing is if you don't feel like, let's say, checking it right here, you can always go to the shape key preview section. And here, this will actually give you a preview of the shape keys that you created. So, right here, browDownLeft. This will show you, okay, that was how it was when it was in the other mode, when I had it in solid viewpoint. And then you'll see browDownRight right here. This will show based off of your position. So if you want to get a clear picture, it's always good to just make sure that you're facing directly in the viewpoint, and then you just add the shape key that you want. Another cool thing is, let's say you want to have like a combination of your shape keys. You can also go in and let's say you want to do happy and you want to combine certain shape keys. That's the cool thing about this, is that you can go right here, and then if you want to go and create the shape key, let's say you already have all the other stuff the way you want, you kind of just add it to the shape key, right? You can kind of overwrite it and have a different style of your shape key, you know. So like let's say we put these back how they were, and as you can see, we made the eyebrows different, and you know, made a unique shape key based off of a combination of shape keys. So that's if you want to do it individually. Usually, if you're creating all shape keys, you can't do that. But if you want some more customization to your emotions or different stuff like that, you're more than welcome to do it that way. And you could just create it that way. So that's a cool thing about this. Now, let's say you have everything set up the way that you want. All the shape keys, you're kind of using the same rig across your characters, and you know the facial expressions don't need to be too customizable. There's this create all shape key button right here and delete all shape key button right here. Now, not to worry, if you press this button, all it's going to do is delete all the shape keys that are associated with this add-on. None of your other shape keys will be affected. Okay, so as you can see, I have other shape keys like look up and down, from like different stuff that I did before. So if I wanted to just delete all the shape keys that I created, I can do that. And as you can see, I just have other shape keys that I've had from before. Now, if I want to create all of them at once, I can. Uh, Before I show that off though, one other key thing is in the mesh assignment area, you're going to notice that I didn't assign the beard, for example. I don't have a section specifically for beard. This is in cases like you want to add a hat or facial stuff like beards, mustaches, you know, just different accessories on the face, maybe some piercings or something that you want to move along with it. You can actually do it in a way where you select the beard and it will automatically select the other meshes that are associated with the shape keys. And then all we have to do is just go right here, and let me just delete the ones that are on the beard, just to give an example. And then we're just going to go to create all shape keys. Now what this is doing is creating all 69 shape keys at once. And it's also taking photos of each shape key, so that way you can see the previews all at once. And it's going to take about 30 seconds or so, give or take, depending on your PC and how fast it is and everything. Yep, in this case, probably about a minute. And you'll see this little icon at the bottom here. It's showing you how many are left. So we got 66 so far, 68, 69. How many seconds that is going? As you can see, creating all the shape keys at once does take a minute. Especially since I added the photo option, so it's going to have like all the previews that you need. So as you can see, all the previews were created at once. Another thing I added, as you notice, is that the bones are not visible in the photos. So I made it so that way the bones don't get in the way of your photos. So if you're trying to use these for like a game project or something, and you want to use different facial expressions um, for the character while they're talking or whatever, you're not going to have the bones showing up on the photo, and it's pretty easy to edit later if needed. So as you can see, all of these are selected over here. The beard, body, teeth, tongue, all of these were affected in some way or another. The teeth will usually have like just certain shape keys associated with using the teeth. And then same thing with the tongue. Tongue will have certain shape keys associated with the tongue. The let's see here, the beard, it will have all the shape keys here because we selected the beard with the other meshes that were selected. And you can always go through here and delete the ones that are unnecessary. Like for example, I don't need these eyebrow uh, shape keys with the beard, so I could just delete those, no problem. But I want to keep like all the ones down here that are associated with the mouth because those are going to be the most important. And what you're going to notice is when we go right here and we mess around with the beard, it's going to go exactly where it's supposed to go according to the shape key. So let's go, what was that right here? Smile left, mouth smile left. Go over here, mouth smile left. And you're going to notice that the beard went right along with it. So that is the summary of how this whole system works. It's very customizable. If you wanted, you can also just have your own settings. So like let's say you don't want to deal with the settings that are associated with this script. Uh, like right now I just initiated all the default settings that come with this script. But let's say you have your own custom way that you did your facial expressions and stuff. You just go right here, go to save settings, and then you just go to settings, your own folder, or you could do it in the same folder, it doesn't matter. And then you'll have all these settings associated. I even have a script option here, so if you want to go in and mess with the script, you'll have already a section here that you can copy and paste into the script itself. And you can customize it that way too if you like. And then you can always load the settings that you just saved from the same folder. So we're going to go right here, transforms, load settings, bam. You're going to have all those, oh yeah, my apologies. Settings, bam, the JSON file right here. This is going to be right here, all the settings that you need um, for this script. But I'm just going to go with the initial default settings. I also have settings for Make Human, which is like a free human creation tool, open source and all that. I mean, not really like full on open source. There are some stuff that is kind of like copyrighted with some clothes and stuff, but the system itself is pretty much free and stuff, so you could check that out if you want to use that system. I have these default settings for that facial bone structure that it has there. But for this one, all you need to worry about is the default settings right here, because those are going to be the bones that we created right here. And like I said, if you have your own bones and you want to have your own settings, you just save them, and then you just load the settings in the future if you need them. So that should summarize everything. As you can see, you have all the facial expressions, all the settings you need, all right here for the time being. If you have any further questions, you can always email the email support, and I will include more tutorials in the future if I do make some more enhancements to this script as well as time goes on. I may even have some other stuff in the future for you guys to check out. So hope that helped you out. If you have any questions, like I said, just hit up that support line. But this video should summarize everything that you need